It's 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings and rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time now, light your fires for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to, I guess, just a pre-season live Q&A. For anyone listening to this after the fact or on podcast, it's currently 10 a.m. on the 27th of July. I was going to say welcome back to the knee-jerk stream or the deadline stream, but obviously we're a little bit away from that at the moment. But I thought rather than do a pre-recorded video for today, I'd answer some of your questions. Videos will be back from tomorrow onwards. I'll defend the draft that I put up the other day. We'll maybe change it around and, yeah, just generally talk a little bit of FPL. I'm 10 seconds late to the stream. Do you know what? That's better than normal. So you should probably just appreciate it, to be honest. I'm close to being on time. Have I contemplated a bench boost in game week 1? No. Not really. I mean, I should probably look at it. I don't see me doing it. The thing for me is, I can't, like, we've got 38 game weeks, right? I think at the minimum, there will be a week to bench boost that's just as good as game week 1, right? At a minimum. And if not better. So I just don't see the point in trying to force it straight away. I'm definitely not bench boost game week 1, wildcard game week 2. I don't get that strategy at all, if I'm honest. I guess you get to dodge the Chelsea Man City game in game week 1. You get to wildcard straight out of your bench boost rather than into it. There'll be a bit of information from game week 1, of course. But ultimately, I don't understand blowing your wildcard that early. I mean, I might use it fairly early this season because of the ability to build up transfers. I think that could be interesting. But ultimately, I don't see myself doing it. I really don't. I don't think it's a bad strategy at all, but I don't see me do it. I don't see me doing it. Slicker, who is that? Slicker's just the 4 million goalkeeper from Ipswich. He's literally in because of his name. Like, none of the 4 millions right now are going to play, so it doesn't really matter. I'll either go for a 4.5 and 4 million goalkeeper combo from the same team, so either Areola and Fabianski or maybe Flecken and whoever the backup goalkeeper is there. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name. Or if I end up going for like a Henderson Johnston or Sells Miguel, I'll just pick a low-owned 4 million that's not likely to drop in price anytime soon. Triple Villa attack is crazy. Yeah, but in isolation, each pick is pretty good, right? Like, Watkins is not too bad. I suspect I'm going to end up avoiding Watkins for what it's worth in game week 1. But I don't think he's a bad pick. Bailey, if he gets minutes, is good. And then Rodgers is probably the best 5 million midfielder right now. The only thing it blocks is obviously a defensive option. I don't see me going for Triple Villa necessarily, but I don't think... Like, Rodgers is not going to play that often. He's mostly going to be on the bench. So I don't see it as a huge issue. Do I have the best job in the world, in your opinion? Probably not the best, but I'm definitely very grateful and appreciative that I am still doing this, at least for another season. Who knows? Maybe next year something will happen and I'm not doing it anymore, but right now things are looking good. That midfield is woeful. Yeah, that's the comment that I've had so many times, but as I've replied back to people, everyone always focuses on the weakest part of the team and they don't acknowledge the players that are actually in there, right? So, yeah, there's no Palmer, there's no Son, there's no Saka, there's no Salah, but I've got Haaland, Isak and Watkins frontline, and I've got Trent, and I've got a 6 million midfielder. Of course, I could upgrade that midfield, but then I've got to start downgrading in other positions. And like the first week when I said to avoid Watkins, all the replies were, no, he's absolutely essential, look at the fixtures, etc. And now a week later, I've got to get rid of him to upgrade the midfield, which is probably what I'll do, but it just shows how quickly people's opinions change. So I think individually, like, Eze's good, Gordon's good. I think there's going to be at least 2 6.5 million midfielders that are fine. And if you think that getting Trent a 6 million defender, Watkins, Haaland and Isak is worth doing, then that's the way you go, right? I suspect my final team will end up being a hybrid of the first draft and the one that I've just put out recently. So maybe I do drop Watkins and try and fit in Saka or Palmer somehow. I'm also considering dropping Trent. I think he is the best premium defender if you can afford it, right? And I really want him in my team, but dropping that million down just lets you spend $1 million elsewhere, of course. But I think that upgrade could be decent. I need to keep an eye on Liverpool in pre-season, see when Robertson gets back and stuff like that. So we'll see. This won't be my final job. I mean, lots of comments saying that won't be your final team. I mean, yeah, I'm just like any other FPL manager, and I'm tinkering around and playing around. And the only difference is that I'm putting my thoughts up on YouTube, really. Me is a weird pick unless you're only playing him game week 1. Why is he a weird pick? I will say I'll probably end up with Pinnock instead of me. I messaged FPL Dummy Tommy on Twitter, or I tweeted him. He's a Brentford fan. And he's not convinced that me is like 100% nailed on. Like last season when Ben Mee was fit, he pretty much played every single game. But Pinnock is their main centre-back. Like he's never going to come out of that team. And it could be Ben Mee, it could be Collins if they're playing a back four. So I will probably just, if I go for a Brentford defender, I'll just play it safe and go for Pinnock. Robertson's injured, won't play pre-season. I don't think he's definitely ruled out for the whole of pre-season, but he is probably going to be back pretty late. I think that's the problem with Liverpool. A lot of their players are not... Like, if you look at the Spurs team that's playing today, like, most of that team is what you would expect their first 11 to be. It's not exact, but it's close, right? I'm just going to look it up here really quickly. So in the Spurs 11 for their pre-season game that's, I don't know, happening very soon while I'm streaming, like Vicario, Porro, Emerson Royale, Gray, Davies. So Udogie's missing, but he's injured. Like Saar, Basuma, Madison, Kulusevski, Son, Johnson. Like that's almost their first 11, right? Obviously Romero's missing, Van der Ven, but it's fairly close. Whereas Liverpool, like all their attackers apart from Salah are missing. Robertson's out as well. Van Dijk's not back yet, neither's Trent. I don't know how much of an effect that has, but in terms of us getting more information about how teams are going to get set up, it's much easier when they've got most of their players available. And like next season, obviously there'll be the Club World Cup. That might have an impact, but there's no Euros or World Cup and stuff like that. What would I do if I needed to get Salah in? Drop Haaland? I said this on the video that I did, my updated draft video. However you set up, you're pretty much always going to be 2 transfers away from at least one player, whoever that is. I don't, unless you, okay, if you start with Haaland, Salah and Trent, then obviously you can get to every single player in one move. But I'm not sure if Haaland, Salah, Trent is the way to start the season. So someone's going to miss out, right? And I guarantee you my next draft, when it's a little bit different to this, people will be saying the players I've taken out have got to be in. Like, sometimes there's just a perception thing with drafts. Again, like I said earlier, people just focus on the weakest point. Anyway, I'm not going to keep answering the same questions about my teams. I think that'll get very boring to listen back to. So let's try and get into some other questions. João Pedro and Palmer, or Nkunku and Watkins? I mean, if João Pedro's fit to start the season and it looks like he's going to get regular minutes, probably Palmer and João Pedro. But I think in terms of safety of minutes, it's probably Nkunku and Watkins. And I say safety of minutes in that when Nkunku's fit, I expect him to play, but there is obviously a risk over fitness. Like some players, even when they're fit, might not play, whereas with Nkunku, I think he will. Do you have your own FPL someone could join and challenge? I've got the Let's Talk FPL mini league. All the links for that are in the description below on YouTube and on podcast. I haven't set up a FPL challenge league yet, but I will. I think the fact that FPL challenge is now has season-long mini leagues, that might keep me a little bit more interested. Mbeumo is a must. No, I disagree that he's a must, but I will say this. If Tony goes, I'll be very interested in Mbeumo straight away. Like, if I just... I need to... There we go. If I just bring up this here. So Mbeumo is 7 million, so not a bad price at all. The fixtures, I mean, to be fair, 2 out of the first 3 are not bad. Palace at home and Southampton at home. Obviously, Liverpool away in between. But in the first 5 game weeks, they do play Liverpool away game week 2, City away game week 4, and Spurs away game week 5. It's not great. But if Tony goes, Mbeumo will be on penalties, almost certainly. I think longer term, he would be a really solid option. I just don't know if I would start with him. I mean, maybe. If I set up with a team where... I've got a good bench option that could play in some of those tougher fixtures. Maybe I'll do it. Or maybe I would just think he's on penalties. He's only 7 million. I'll just play him every single game. Either way. So yeah, I don't think Mbeumo is a must right now. And I don't think he becomes essential even if Tony leaves. But he does become a lot more interesting. What are my thoughts on Miniz? I think he's really good for 6 million as long as he's going to be first choice. And I think he will be. I think him and Chris Wood, if they get minutes, are both going to be decent. I mean, I've already pre-recorded videos for the next 3 days after today. And I did a 7.5 million forward video. And I think Mateta's massively overpriced when you compare him to Miniz and Chris Wood. If they all get similar minutes, I just don't see how you pay 1.5 million for Mateta extra. Nkunku first choice over the other 42. Chelsea players, I'm pretty sure he will be, yeah. Not a single Man United player. I've had Rashford since the first draft. I think this is his season. I mean, it could be. Like, every now and again, he has a 17-goal season. I think I could be interested. Like, so this is where you can make downgrades and upgrades, right? So if you look at this current draft, I've got Trent and Gordon. Instead of those 2 players, I could have Robertson or Van Dijk if I want to go safe, or even an Arsenal defender, right? Let's just say it's Trent down to a 6 million premium, and then Gordon up to Bruno Fernandes. Is that a better combination? It might be. I'm not against Bruno because there is a bit of consistency about him in the fact that he always plays on penalties. I think if Man United bring in a new midfielder that's more defensive, that's going to allow Bruno to play further forward a lot more, I could get tempted. I don't think the opening fixtures for Man United are that bad, but I'm not looking at it thinking he's got to be in. I mean, I started last season with 2 Man United players and it went terribly wrong. It wouldn't put me off doing it again. I mean, I like Garnacho as well, but we need to see when he gets back for pre-season. Like Rashford, I mean, I wouldn't completely rule him out being in my squad for game week 1, but not a huge amount of interest right now. Won't be shocked at all if Vardy plays only one of first 3. I'd be a little bit shocked. I think the fact that he's back so early in pre-season compared to other players, like Ake in particular, is going to help. But long term, of course, there's always going to be a doubt with Vardy. But he played so well towards the end of last season in that left-back role that you just don't know with Man City, do you? Honestly, I could see myself going double Liverpool defence or 1 Liverpool, 1 Arsenal. And just not going with the Man City headache. I'm not sure. Do I think Palmer is overpriced? No. Not really. New to FPL, how far do you plan ahead? I mean, personally, I'd probably be looking at the first 5 to 6 game weeks mostly. I mean, if you've got an idea, like slightly longer term about what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with having that in the back of your mind. But definitely be open to changing your mind because stuff will happen in the first few game weeks that will sway your opinions and stuff like that. And also you don't want to, like, sometimes you can, like, some people will suffer burnout from FPL just thinking about it too much. And if you spend loads of time during pre-season right now thinking about what you're going to do in game week 10, yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy the season as much. So I will primarily look about 6 game weeks ahead, maybe with a little bit of an eye on, 8 or 10 game weeks, something like that. I try, it doesn't always work. I try not to get too fixated on what the longer term plan is going to be. I think that sometimes is not a downside, but like a flaw in my game maybe. Why did Forest underperform their expected goals conceded last season so much? A lot of people saying they conceded a lot of... I haven't checked this, but they conceded a lot of goals from set pieces. They have just signed a new goalkeeper, who I think will play Miguel, and one of their new centre-backs is pretty tall as well, I think. What's his name? I've got to look it up a second. I've not got everyone's names like implanted in my head yet. It is, Milenkovic. I believe he's a fairly tall centre-back. And maybe him and the goalkeeper are part of the hope in being better at set pieces. Why Vardio over Meniz for day one? It could be either. Like, honestly, I don't spend a huge amount of time thinking about stuff like that right now. Like, it doesn't matter. We're a long way from... We're just under 3 weeks away from game week 1. I'll decide closer exactly who to put in the 11. But ultimately, I'm not sure Crystal Palace or Chelsea or Man City necessarily get a clean sheet game week 1. And Vardio... I mean, maybe Vardio's not... Maybe he's not more attacking than Munoz. It's close. Apparently, Bournemouth's new keeper might start and he's 4 million. Well, last season, there was a lot of talk about Neto. Like, we thought he might lose his place. And I believe, did he lose his place towards the end of the season? He only made 32 starts. I believe he did. Surely Travers is going to get a chance, no? Keep an eye on that, possibly. Paulson, you think it's going to be? Who's your differential game week 1 punt? I ask you this every year. You nailed it last couple of seasons. Did I? That doesn't sound like me. Differential punt game week 1. Let me look at the fixtures a second. So, I mean, Man United versus Fulham. Straight away. Liverpool versus Ipswich. Okay, here's what I'll say. Without thinking about it too much, and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon a little bit after he's got... It looks worse because he scored last night, but I'm going to say Szoboszlai against Ipswich. I think from what Arne Slot has said, they're going to play with a number 10. I'll read out the quote on the Liverpool website. So on the formation they used last night, he said, I think during the season you will see us play with a real striker, but at this moment we have no one available. And then with Szoboszlai and Elliott, we've got 2 number 10s. So we put them in the position they will play during the season. So he played with dual 10s last night. And he said that's the position they're going to play during the season. He wasn't very good apparently. Okay, fair enough. I didn't watch the game. But either way, if it's Elliott or Szoboszlai playing 10, I mean, presumably Szoboszlai would get that spot, maybe. So him versus Ipswich, I'll say that as a big differential. Otherwise, Rashford against Fulham. I've literally just looked at the first 2 fixtures on the on the day though. Oh, Arsenal are the 3:00 game on Irish TV. Interesting. Yeah, or Brennan Johnson against Leicester. There you go. There's 3 picks for you. Rashford, Szoboszlai, Brennan Johnson. How about Odegaard? I like Odegaard for 8.5. Like, he always plays. The minutes are good. And he's also one of those players that when he gets an attack and return, he tends to get bonus as well, which is quite nice. So sometimes he doesn't need like multiple returns to get a big score. He might just get an assist and pick up 3 bonus. The only thing I will say is I'm not sure Arsenal's fixtures are better than Man United. And to me, Odegaard is just... Not in terms of... I'm not going to get into it, but I think Odegaard is basically Bruno Fernandes without penalties. The only thing I can maybe say in Odegaard's favour is their creative numbers, like expected assists. I think they're similar-ish. I haven't double-checked them today. Maybe you could say that Odegaard's got better players around him to pass to, but ultimately Fernandes has got the penalties. So I think between the two, to start the season, I'd probably just about prefer Fernandes. But Odegaard is a nice option. Like I wouldn't argue about people taking him out. So if we're not getting Salah or Trent, which Liverpool players should we get? Well, you can get Salah and Trent if you want. I mean, you don't have to pick Liverpool players, but the fixtures are good. Like, I'm very tempted just to get Van Dijk for safety. Robertson if he's fit to start the season. Like, as I said earlier, one of the problems we've got with Liverpool is we're not going to see the majority of their squad together during pre-season. So could it be Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, Darwin Núñez? Possibly, but I just don't have the information to give you an answer right now. Am I tempted by Nkunku? If he's fit, it'll almost certainly be in my draft. In my final team, sorry. If I'm setting up with a structure that's got one or two 6.5 million midfielders, right now, I'd be very surprised if one of them's not Nkunku. Martinelli at 7 million is still a good option, even with limited minutes. I just don't want players that don't start or aren't guaranteed to start. I mean, perhaps it is going to be the case that Martinelli is first choice left winger again to start the season. But Trossard's there. If Havertz plays number 9, Gabriel Jesus can play left wing as well. I don't have much interest in Martinelli, honestly. And like I'm always open to change my mind, and I reserve the right to do that. I think if I was picking a 7 million midfielder, I'd probably even rather go Rashford than Martinelli at the moment. Just because I think Rashford's minutes might be better. I could be wrong about that though. We'll see. We'll see how Arsenal play. How Arsenal keep setting up in pre-season. Liverpool will prioritise possession over fast counter press. Maybe means less goals conceded, but less goals scored too. Yeah. So one of the I haven't got all the quotes in front of me, but yes, Slot after the game talked about building up from the back and being in control basically, which I thought was quite interesting. And that was my thought, that maybe that will mean defensively. Then I guess my first thought wasn't that defensively they'll be as good as Arsenal or Man City. It was more that maybe their defence won't suffer too much from losing Klopp. Because I think most people are expecting a drop-off from Liverpool, right? And maybe with the way Slot wants to play, that won't happen defensively. So I'm very tempted by Liverpool defenders. I think with Liverpool, Ipswich away and then 3 home games in the next 4, Brentford, Forest and Bournemouth. Like, I feel like I've got to have Liverpool players. And so that's why, although I can't answer the question about attackers right now, I'm hoping we have that info before the season starts. And I see if I go with 2 premium defenders, one of them will be a Liverpool player. I've got almost no doubts about that. Thoughts on any Spurs defenders? Conceded a lot last season. Should see an improvement and playing an attacking system. Why do you think there'll be an improvement? Just that, like, that's not a loaded question. Because I've been thinking about Spurs defence myself, and I'm not sure there would be a massive improvement. I mean, maybe now they've had a year of playing under Postecoglou, they know the system a little bit more potentially. But have they signed any players that would make you think their defence would get better? I think the first 2 fixtures are pretty good. Leicester away and Everton at home. But then Newcastle away, Arsenal at home, Brentford at home, Man United away, Brighton away. I don't know how many clean sheets I really see longer term. Like, I've considered Porro briefly just because he's a little bit cheaper than like Gabriel Saliba at 5.5. But if he doesn't bring you the, I don't know. I mean, look, you can frame fixtures in lots of different ways. Like, I can look at game weeks 3 to 7 and think Newcastle away, Arsenal at home, Man United away, Brighton at home. That's actually quite tough for clean sheets. But you could look at it first 5 game weeks, Leicester away, Everton at home game weeks 1 and 2, and Brentford at home game week 5. Maybe that's not that bad. Yeah, I'm not that keen on Spurs defenders. Someone said your screen is weirdly zoomed in. Yeah, it's because of the new UI on FPL. So if I make it smaller, I just think it's too small, right? I mean, maybe that looks okay. I don't know. The new UI just doesn't match up properly on the stream, like at all. So if I want to make the players really visible, it's got to be like that. But obviously, then when you click in, it's also super zoomed in. So I'm not really sure what the. Hang on. So I'm not really sure what the optimal... It's either that, where where the players are quite zoomed out, but when you click in, it looks okay-ish, or you have the players zoomed in so you can see it properly. But then the menus look weird. I don't know. Anyway, we won't focus on that too much. Is it possible to have 5 cheap defenders to rotate and invest all the money in attacking midfield? I mean, it's definitely possible. It just feels like it's something that won't last very long, essentially. Like, you'll have problems, and my main worry with going for like 4.5 million defenders or a similar setup is you're probably going to have to spend quite a few transfers on defence. Whereas if you stick in like a Trent or a Van Dijk or Robertson, Vardy or Gabriel Saliba, right, as long as they're getting minutes, you can probably concentrate more of your transfers in attack. But I'm not against it. I think last season I only had 1 premium defender, and there was a lot of... There wasn't a huge amount of clean sheets last year outside of maybe Arsenal. I think clean sheets were down in general. The stream setup, by the way, will be being changed. I just don't have it ready. Hopefully it'll be ready for the season. We're going to change things around. The ticker is going, but I think it'll be fine. Milenkovic will score 5 goals from corners this season, 6'5". Let's see. Are the Man City 6.5 million midfielders worth looking at? If you can tell me which ones are going to start regularly, yes. I don't know if anyone can tell us that, though. And the problem is, if let's say Bernardo Silva's playing on the right and Foden and De Bruyne are central, then you've got one of Doku or Grealish on the left. Savio could maybe get minutes at some point as well. I think, let me just double check. I believe Savio mostly plays, on the right. Oh, I can't find him now. Where is he? Yeah, I think he mostly plays on the right, but he can play left as well. So, maybe. The thing for me is, Man City attackers are obviously very good because their team will score a lot of goals. So if you're on the pitch, you've got a good chance of getting attacking returns. But if you're on the pitch, and I just don't know if any of those 6.5 million midfielders are so good that they're worth going for rather than just a safer option. Doku left wing, Savio right wing, Bernardo will be centre. Right, but then you've got to leave out one of De Bruyne or Foden. You're not going to play Bernardo, Foden and De Bruyne, right? And this is the problem straight away. How is Rodri not a safe option? I mean, he is for minutes, but I'm not convinced he'll get as many attacking returns as he did last year. I wouldn't want to block a Man City spot with Rodri, personally. Would I be right in captaining Isak over Salah because of the 12:30 fixture for Liverpool? I don't think we need to worry too much about a 12:30 fixture, like opening game week of the season. It's not like they've just played Champions League midweek. If I had Salah, there's no way I would captain someone else in game week. Like, if you've got Salah and he's got Ipswich and you're not captaining him, I'd maybe question why you've got him in the first place. I mean, it's not like Isak could do really well. I get it. It's also a newly promoted team and he's at home. But the 12:30 fixture would not play a part for me. Yeah, Isak is a good captain too. Absolutely. Svein, looking forward to the new season. You are the man. I'm not convinced by that last part, but I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Kulusevski for me is such a big call for 6.5. I feel he's going to have a big season following pre-season. He creates a lot, works hard, and can finish. Think he could be bargain, but could he? Could be. I got no interest in Kulusevski, to be honest with you. I'm much more interested in someone like Brennan Johnson, I think. The problem with Kulusevski's numbers is just not that great, really. Like, if I just have a quick look here on Fantasy Football Hub, let me just bring him up. So last season, 0.16 non-penalty expected goals, 0.21 expected assists. Like, his expected goal involvement is close to like a Trent. I mean, Trent's pretty attacking, but obviously you get him because he's a defender. I'm not that interested in Kulusevski, honestly. Saka or Son, and why? I think Saka's fixtures are probably slightly better. That's about it. They're both very good. I mean, with Son, I guess you're never quite sure if he's going to play central or left, but I don't know if that makes a huge difference. They're both going to put up over 200 points. I don't really have a strong opinion, if I'm honest. I think Arsenal's fixtures defensively are a little bit tough, but attacking wise, Villa away, Brighton at home wouldn't worry me too much. Spurs away, neither. Get to play Leicester and Southampton in 6 and 7. I mean, you could maybe argue that Son's slightly better first two, but I think Saka's the man for me. It'd be nice to start with both, but then you'd probably just get Palmer instead of Son. Not having Palmer is crazy. Someone's got to miss out. Someone's got to miss out. It doesn't matter what team I have on screen, someone will come and make a comment to say that a player missing is crazy. Konza or Newcastle, 4.5 million defender rotate better than me and are more reliable for clean sheets. I think that's debatable. I mean, last year Brentford's underlying numbers were better than Newcastle and Aston Villa. Ben Mee rotates pretty well with Crystal Palace. Thoughts on wildcard in Game Week 6? Yeah, lots of people are talking about that. I think one of the big swings in Game Week 6 is Arsenal's fixtures, and I think wildcarding to get 3 Arsenal and then overhauling the rest of the team looks pretty good, especially if you've got a few saved transfers. I will probably set up in a way where I could wildcard 6, but I won't have it locked in. I prefer to just wait and see on. Well, actually, last season I think I had a target of Game Weeks 8 or 10, and I kind of stuck with that. So maybe 6. Slicker's not a starter, no, don't believe. I think Palmer might be overinflated. Less penalty goals last season than Son, but had his breakout season and second season can always be questions, or can he do it again? Yeah, I mean, yes, like there will be players I'm sure people could bring up where they had a great season and they went downhill. But I mean, people said the same about Mo Salah. He's a one-season wonder, right? Liverpool. People said the same about Harry Kane. And I'm not saying Palmer's as good as those two players, but the numbers he put up last year in terms of expected goals, expected assists were very good. His minutes are good too. So do I think he'll go and get 244 points again? Probably not. But do I think he'll get enough to warrant being 10.5 million? Probably. And he probably will get less penalties this year. But I think he could still push 200 points. As long as he keeps playing. And I think he will. Is Solanke a good option? I actually did a video on the 7.5 million forwards, which is not going out till Tuesday. And I think at that price point, there is an argument he's the best option because in terms of guaranteed minutes, penalties, and underlying stats, he's one of the best. And unlike Ivan Toney, there's not really massive speculation that Solanke might leave. That the fixtures just aren't great for Bournemouth after the first 3 weeks. That's the only thing. Will Palmer's position change under Maresca? I don't know if it was a quote or someone writing about what Maresca had said in an interview, which is kind of similar, I guess. I saw someone say that Palmer might play more centrally this season, like regularly. Yeah, here we go. So it's from The Athletic. Cole Palmer has been earmarked by Maresca for a more consistently central role. Chelsea haven't ruled out buying another winger. So, I mean, Palmer did play central at times for Chelsea last year, and even when he played on the right, he came inside. But it sounds like maybe he won't start as, the right winger, even though he's not your typical right winger, I guess. So yeah, I don't know if that will I don't know if that will massively change his numbers, to be honest with you. But I guess central, maybe closer to goal more often, could be nice. I mean, my general feeling on Palmer is he's a very good option. And even if he does get less points, it doesn't mean he's overpriced. But I do wonder if both Son and Saka just might be better to start the season with for 0.5 less. I'm really up in the air. And I wonder this far out, like 2 weeks and 6 days to the deadline, What's going to change my mind on Palmer? The fixtures are very good for Chelsea after game week 1. Do I think that Nicholas Jackson will still be a starter? My assumption would be yes. But Maresca has said that Nkunku can play as that forward. So we'll have to wait and see. I think Jackson did really well last year. 20 attack and returns. A lot of starts for Chelsea. Do I have any guaranteed locks in my team? 20 days to go. I don't know if I do, honestly. I mean, I think Isak and Eze, like if Isak's fit, I'd be very surprised if I don't start with him. So he's almost a lock. And I think if Eze's at Crystal Palace and there's not massive speculation that he could leave, I think I really like him at 7 million as well. He's been in every draft I've put up so far. So Isak and Eze are the closest players to being locked. Everyone else is up for debate. And I think the struggle I'm having with building a team and like being like usually by this point I'm probably a little bit more certain on a few more players. I think FPL have kind of nailed the price and that's what it feels like right now. We won't know that for sure until the season plays out. Like even Haaland, like can I see myself going without Haaland when he's got Ipswich at home in game week 2? Probably not. But I still think that 2.5 million saving on Salah by getting Salah instead, it goes such a long way to making an overall like super solid squad that it is going to be tempting to ditch Haaland. But game week 2, like I'm going to have to like go on holiday or something and just not watch any football because, I mean, we shouldn't forget that Salah's got Ipswich in game week 1 as well, but it's away, right? So it's not quite as good. Do you think a triple fodder bench is too risky? Yeah, so basically your whole bench is like non-playing players for the most part. I don't know if risky is the right word, but what that tends to lead to is if you get an injury or something, or you get a player with like a bad fixture, you're more like forced into using a transfer. I think there's two reasons to have a solid bench, right? One, if someone misses out, which you weren't expecting, right? There's like a last minute injury or something like that. You've got good cover off the bench, right? Or if there's an injury and they're only out for a short period of time and you want to keep them, you can just play someone off your bench. So that's one reason, right? It's just solid cover. But also, it's to play players with better fixtures, right? So like someone in your team might be good long term, but they might have a dodgy fixture. And if you've got someone really good on your bench that's got a solid fixture that week, then there's a chance for more points, right? So there's a couple of reasons to have a more expensive bench, but it's probably a compromise, right? Rather than having 3 duds, if we're talking about outfield players, maybe just have 1, maybe 2 at the maximum. I would certainly want my first bench to be somewhat good, even if it's like a 4.5 or a 5 million player. Like my bench right now, the outfielders, I've got Rodgers at 5, Munoz at 5, and Fast at 4. I'd be very surprised if I have 2 5 million players on the bench. I'll have at least another 4.5, I'd say, by game week 1. Is your captaincy locked on Isak? It's July 27th. Nothing is locked. Salah had pretty much the same XGI as Haaland last year. Less XG, but he's a midfielder. Assuming their minutes are about the same, Salah has to be the better value. Yeah, if we expect them to score similarly to the last few seasons, possibly, yeah. I mean, if you look at the odds and stuff that Rob posts on FPL, I can't remember what his handle is now to give him a shout out. Is it Rob T FPL? Yeah, Rob T FPL on Twitter. Like, if you look at the goal markets over the season, like they're predicting Haaland to score 27.5 goals and Salah 19.3. So there is a bit of a discrepancy there in terms of goals scored, right? But yes, Salah does get extra points when he scores, and he's got clean sheet potential. I just don't know if I can go without Haaland for that game week 2 fixture. I mean, maybe in the end I'll have both. I don't think I will have both. There's too many compromises. I think it has to be one or the other. there is part of me that just thinks, though, once you get past game week 2, could be plain sailing for Salah owners. Is Calvert-Lewin playing in Everton pre-season games not bad for 6 million? Honest answer is I'm not sure. I don't know if he is playing. I mean, he's never usually fit, but he might be right now. Let me see if I can find him a sec. Hang on. By the time I look it up, there'll be an Everton fan in the chat that tells me if he's had any minutes yet. I think they've only had. I don't even know if they've played like lots of games. I think they've played one game and he's played. Someone double check that. Does triple Villa attack not worry? Why do people keep saying? What would worry me about it? I'm confused. Like Rodgers is mostly going to sit on the bench. Am I sleeping on Ward-Prowse? Joe, are you winding me up? I feel like it's hard to know, but I feel like anyone that asks me about Ward-Prowse, I feel like they've been around a while and they're just winding me up. Maybe that's an honest question. Do you think all their main players will start in game week 1? I'm not sure who you mean, which team you mean. Maatsen might be good. Yeah, he could be good for Villa, but they've got 3 left backs, haven't they? I think it's also worth mentioning that, or worth noting that Villa obviously got Champions League, so part of their transfer strategy is going to be to get more depth. Like, I'm not 100% convinced that Maatsen's come in to be first choice and play every single game. Not if Moreno and Luka Dean's still there. Oh, it was a wind-up. Okay, fair enough. For anyone that's new, I don't rate Ward-Prowse as an FPL option, and people always bring him up. Maatsen will play left midfield sometimes. Yeah, possibly. Like, I mean, if that happens, if he regularly plays left midfield, then it'll be in a lot of people's teams, right? Because he'll be a defender. He's a defender that's going to be playing left mid, but I'm not sure that's something we're going to see that often. Oh, look at KSI in the chat. Thoughts on Reece James? He's suspended, so he's a no-go. He's suspended for the first 3 or 4 games, I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, he's suspended until game week 4. So, and by that point, he'll probably have found him a way to get injured, so we won't even be looking at him, I would say. No, he's out till the 14th of September, so that's game week 4. If you didn't have Haaland, would you get Salah? I would definitely get. I'm having one of Salah or Haaland. I'm not going to go with. I mean, you can build a really nice team without either. But I just like having that security of a captain every week. Could Oscar Bob see minutes at City this season? I doubt it. Not regularly. I mean, it's possible for sure, but not sure it would regularly happen. KSI asking for advice and he still won't finish top million. Where did he finish last year? For what it's worth on Reece James, by the way, like if he's fit and available, I think 5 million is a ridiculous price, but he's priced at 5 million because he's never fit. So I don't know if I can put myself through that punishment again. Gibbs White or Nkunku. I suspect by game week 1, if he's fit, I'll go Nkunku over Gibbs White. I think Gibbs White is like. He's a solid enough pick, but I'd always be looking for a way to go for someone more exciting, I think. I think Nkunku's that player. Would you be tempted to drop Watkins down to Muniz and upgrade the midfield? I mean, possibly, but like, who do you think in midfield's better than Watkins for the price? 843k last season. Oh my days, come on. You can do better than that. Thoughts on McGinn? If McGinn gets penalties, I'm interested at 5.5. Thoughts on Palace drop-off in output due to Elise leaving Mateta at the Olympics and teams taking a closer look at how to play against them in general. I think Mateta at the Olympics might actually not, like, it might not be a terrible thing. I think it depends how far they go, but ultimately he's probably like, okay, the Olympics is not the World Cup or Euros, but in terms of competitive matches, Mateta's probably building up fitness better than players playing. Like, if he's getting regular minutes, by the way, I haven't even checked the France team. Is Mateta even playing? He might not be. Let me have a look. France fixtures. Are they including the? Google doesn't have the Olympics. I don't know if Mateta even plays, right? But if he does, he's building up pretty good minutes, better than those in pre-season, right? So I don't think there'll be a massive drop off for Elise. Check under 23s. Okay, France. Oh yeah. You can only have a certain amount of players over, right? Have they even played a game? Oh yeah, Olympics. They beat the United States 3-0. At least they scored a banger, right? Oh yeah, Mateta started. Okay. It was Lacazette. He's not under 23. He must be one of the players that is over. Lacazette, Elise, and Mateta front three. Oof. Okay, he played 70 minutes. Yeah. So for me, those minutes at the Olympics are probably slightly better than the ones teams have got in pre-season. And he's probably going to play more as well. If KSI is still watching, I need him to put a draft up on Instagram again so I can get the name in the title on YouTube to review his draft like I did last season. Do you think Ismail Sarr affects or improves Eze's output? I think we're over exaggerating the effect that Elise leaving and someone like Sarr coming in would have on Eze. I think Eze's just a solid pick either way. Like Ismail Sarr is a good player, right? I don't think he makes Eze worse or better. I think he's just still a good pick, to be honest. I think we should be positive about Crystal Palace. Could there be a drop-off? Maybe. Will teams figure them out? Possibly. But they did well under Glasner. They got a good team there. Of course, like Elise is a big miss. He's a really good player, right? I don't see a massive drop-off from Eze from an FPL point of view. If anything, more stuff's going to go through him. Maybe that means he starts getting double marked and they ignore the Elise replacement, but I think I heard someone mention that on a podcast recently. I could be wrong. Elise signed a new Palace contract. He's literally at Bayern Munich now. Like, they've literally signed him. That's done. Just wanted to let know your thoughts on Bolly. Very low ownership, 4.5 in Fantasy Football Hub Local Sim. I mean, Bolly's fine, but I think I get it. The thing is, they've got Murillo centre back, and they've just signed Milenkovic. So I guess it depends. If they play a back four, you've only got 2 centre back spots. So I'm not sure Bolly would be like 100% nailed on. If there's any Forest fans in the chat, let me know. But I don't know if his minutes would be fantastic. I mean, he's probably a good option if the minutes are good. But I think there's question marks over that. For the millionth time, is Trent, Salah and Haaland too much? You put millionth time in capital letters, so I don't really want to answer that. And also, the stream's not been up long enough for you to ask that many times. Gordon literally in for the first 2 games. Other than that, Newcastle fixtures are trash. I don't agree with that. I think they're probably not as good as people think because a lot of the games are away. But getting to play Southampton, Bournemouth, Wolves and Fulham first 5 game weeks is not bad. And Spurs at home is not terrible either, right? Newcastle are very strong at home. And Gordon's one of those players that just always plays. And sometimes that level of consistency is pretty handy to have. Do you need to cover for all Arsenal, Chelsea, City and Arsenal attackers or just a few? I would stop worrying about cover. You're just trying to pick the best players. If that happens to be 3 from one team or one from each of 3 teams, it doesn't matter, right? You're just trying to pick the better players. The best players. So I think you can build a great team and not have any Chelsea attack, and that's fine. If you think Palmer is the best premium midfielder, great, go for him. Thiago, if Tony leaves, might be on penalties. Thiago's injured, and I don't know if he'll be fit to start the season. And also, I'd be very surprised if Mbeumo doesn't get penalties. He has a very good record and a very similar technique to Tony. He's extremely good at them. And he's been the penalty taker the last couple of seasons when Tony's missed out, so I don't think he would lose them. Could be wrong. Would you bench boost Neto, Muniz, Ben Mee, and Mikalenko? I don't know if Neto's first choice, by the way, but yeah, that's definitely a bench boost I would consider. How would I rank the £6 million defenders? I think when you, I think Gabriel. I think fixtures wise, it's probably Van Dijk, Robertson if he's fit, and then it's probably Gabriel if he's nailed still, which I think he probably is. I have slight question marks versus last season. And then same for Vardiol. It's probably Vardiol next if he's going to play regularly. Okay, so I tweeted his team. I can't do any videos now. I'll have to do them later in the week. Someone else is going to nick that idea now. Someone else will nick that. They'll copy what I did last year. Can't do any videos until later on in the week now. I'm taking the next few days off. I've already got my videos recorded. Raya, Byrne, Vardiol, Mikalenko, Szoboszlai, Bailey, and Nkunku, Salah, Wood, Isak, and Haaland. Hudson-Odoi on the bench with Fabianski, Greaves, and Cresswell. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad for a Haaland Salah team, I would say. Why is no one talking about Bowen? The fixtures West Ham have got suits him good and will give him space behind. Yeah, I get it, right? Counter-attack, space. But ultimately, I don't want to buy a player with where the fixtures could be better, essentially. I mean, I think Bowen's a pretty good long-term option. So if you just want to put someone in and hold them for like 6 to 8 weeks, it wouldn't be that terrible. But I don't think West Ham's fixtures to start the season are that great. Do you rate the strategy of going with super safe picks and then saving 4 to 5 transfers after taking stock? I think where possible, saving transfers is going to be good this season, yes. Like, I think sometimes when you say like a player's a safe pick, there's like a negative connotation that comes with that. Like ultimately, it's like, for some reason, it's like it's seen as negative, even though it's like a player that will probably score good points. But I wouldn't like if you can make a transfer that's going to net you a whole bunch of points, I wouldn't save it for the sake of it. Is this the most difficult start to a season you've had? The season's not even started yet. In terms of making a team, though, there's a lot of choices. But yeah, the season's not started yet, so it's not that bad. Bruno Fernandes we talked about earlier. Let's see if we've got any other questions I've not already answered. Best captaincy options for Game Week 2. I don't really want to go for Haaland just for one game week. Well, I mean, it's not just one game week, by the way. Like, he is good outside of that. So Game Week 2 captaincies. I mean, Foden in the same fixture. Son against Everton, possibly. I mean, Saka against Villa wouldn't be terrible. Palmer against Wolves is not terrible. But probably Salah versus Brentford. Like, if I don't have Haaland, I'll probably captain Salah Game Week 2. Timinator. João Pedro is my 8th midfield attacker. Would you sell him for a 4.5 to upgrade Konate to... Yes. I don't like Konate as an option. I think he's a little bit prone to injury. And I'm not 100% convinced he will play all the games like Van Dijk. Feels like the FPL of old when there's actually tough choices. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it won't take too many injuries to change that, by the way. Like one injury to Haaland Salah, and then suddenly it's a different conversation and you're probably bored of all the teams we're seeing. But yes, right now, it's good. Do you think team values will be impacted this season with the increased transfers? Well, that is one thing that's going to be difficult at the start of the season. Can you hold your nerve to save transfers while players are going up and down in price? I think ultimately there'll be a lot of price changes early on still. I don't think that will change because the majority of people will still make transfers. And let's be real, like, it's not like a major thing where you have to get to 5 free ones either. Pranav, 22-month member, thank you very much. What about Szoboszlai 6.5? He's pretty much guaranteed start and will play as the 10. Is he a guarantee? Pretty much. Is that enough? If you think he's going to start regularly as a number 10, I think he's a good option for 6.5. How do the new bonus points affect goalkeepers? If they concede, they got less chance of bonus, basically. You're convinced that Kwanzaa is first choice? He pretty much was by the end of the season, I think, last year. But new manager, Konate's very good. We should recognise that, obviously. I think Ben Johnson's being slept on. Ipswich will have a solid run after game week 2, and as a 4 million last choice defender seems a no-brainer. But is he definitely going to play all the games? Because Tuanzebe can play right back too. How good is Munoz? I didn't watch Palace much last season. Basically, they're playing with wing backs, and so he's probably the most attacking. That's why a lot of people have him in. Would I go for Duran if he signs for West Ham? I mean, maybe, but he wouldn't become an automatic lock. I think he's probably going to do well if he goes there, but he's 6 million, right? So if I was going for that kind of price, I'd maybe even go for Muniz at Fulham instead. I feel Saka is being neglected by many FPL creators. I mean, he was in my first draft, and in my second draft video, if people actually watched it, I did mention him at the end. Like for this draft I got on screen, like you can just do Bailey, let's just say Leon Bailey for a second, to Saka, and then you got to free up 3.5, so Watkins down to a 5.5. Like João Pedro or Adam Armstrong. Now, personally, I'm not sure I'd be completely happy having Armstrong and Rodgers or João Pedro and Rodgers, so I'd probably downgrade a few other positions as well. Like maybe even get rid of, I mean, again, you can tinker around loads, right? You can get rid of Trent and Munoz for Anderson, and let's just put Van Dijk in for a second. Virgil. And then there's 1.5 to spend, so I'd probably just put Rodgers back to a different 6.5 million midfielder. Like that's an option as well. And then Armstrong stays on the bench mostly. So I'm quite tempted by Saka if I can fit him in. And I think he and Isak are probably both good captains game week 1. But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Would I go for Calafiori? Probably not. Wouldn't be 100% convinced he starts every game. I've already answered about Mberma, yeah. No one talking about Darwin Nunez. We're all just waiting to see how Slot sets up when he's got everyone available. I'll be very tempted by him if he starts at 7.5. All right, I'm going to leave it there. We've gone about an hour. I think I've covered quite a lot. Thanks for joining me. If you have enjoyed that, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. If you've listened on podcasts, rate 5 stars. If you want to get your team rated for free over on Fantasy Football Hub, there are links in the description below to do that as well. Otherwise, there's videos, like I said, already recorded and uploaded for tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. And then I'll be back recording for Wednesday onwards. Should have daily content all the way until the season starts. And then pretty much daily content throughout the season as well, at least when there's deadlines and stuff like that coming up. Maybe not during international breaks, but outside of that, pretty much daily videos, etc. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining me. If you're live, thanks for listening afterwards and watching. And I will catch you again soon. And I forgot now I've got to click. That's usually how I end my video, and then it doesn't matter if I cut straight away because I can just cut it in the editing afterwards. But this is live, so I can't do that. So anyway, I found the end stream button now. I'll stop rambling on. See you later.